Yeah. Sure.
No, no. Are we ready to go?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we are ready to go, ma'am.
Okay. Good evening, our distinguished guests, principal ma'am, teachers, students, and their parents. A microscopic organism has crippled the lives of almost all human beings on this planet. The coronavirus, responsible for COVID-19 pandemic, has changed the way of our living. We are carrying out most of our activities, professional or academic, from the confines of our homes and have to spend long hours in front of our computer screens. Be it an engineer, lawyer, corporate official, teacher, or student, all are facing a lot of eye-related problems. To help us tide over these visual disorders and maintain good eye health, we have amongst us today an accomplished team of eye specialists from Army Hospital Research and Referral Delhi. On behalf of our principal, Mrs. Komal Sood, entire staff and student community of Army Public School Dholakua, I welcome Colonel Sanjay Kumar Mishra, Head of Department Ophthalmology, Colonel Alok Sati, Lieutenant Colonel Sonali Vinay Kumar, and Lieutenant Colonel Sanjay Kumar Dhar. Thank you all for being here with us today. Our moderators for today's talk are Priya and Shravya, students of class 10. Priya?
Good morning, ma'am. Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Priya.
Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, sirs.
Yeah, good evening. Can I start, ma'am?
Yes. I'm sure the children are eager to listen to all the advice.
Okay, thank you so much. First of all, on behalf of Army Hospital RNR, I, Colonel Sanjay Mishra, head of the department, welcome the students of Army Public School, Dholakua, to this session, which was envisaged to create awareness amongst the most vulnerable lot, that is the students who are facing so much of problems in because of the online teaching, and everything has become online. So the biggest brunt of this online session and this pandemic has been on the eyes. So we thought we'll take this opportunity and we'll try to create awareness among students how to care about their eyes and how to take care and how to go about in this pandemic sessions. So we all know that how the things have evolved over a period of time when the children used to go out and play and used to listen stories to their parents and the grandparents. And over a period of time, this has changed. Next, please. So if you see that you can see you see yourself, students, that how you have started spending time because of the lockdown. You were made to stay inside, and how this has led to increased screen time, whether it is studies or mobile or laptops or TVs. So people are glued to, the students are not only students, I would say even adults are glued to their TVs. Earlier, when we were young in school and in college, we used to wait for letters from our parents and we used to write letters to them. Now, I think this culture has probably gone with the advent of mobile and social media. People are coming on WhatsApp and Instagram and so many messages, the social media, that the culture of letter writing has gone away. As I told you that these are so many, there are multiple social networking sites, and one gets hooked on either on one of these sites, and you don't know how much time flies away, and you just don't know that once you start it, you can spend hours and hours on this. We all know that, in fact, before the pandemic also, you must be getting taught on the school with chalk, and the board is there. But after the lockdown, this has again gone away, and the new system of teaching has become on the mobile. Worse, I mean, all those students who are doing their work on laptop is still fine. But when it comes to mobile, the smaller the size of the screen and the more is the harmful effect. You can see people used to go out for shopping. Now, this has also gone away with the advent of various sites like Big Basket and Amazon. So that has also gone away. So it is, in fact, the environment has been created to keep everybody inside and get hooked onto. So that's, I mean, that was the call of the day. In fact, that was required during the time of pandemic. But these are the disadvantages of, being kept inside the house and doing everything on screen. Again, I would say that earlier we used to read books from books, proper books, hardbound books. But again, that has also gone away. Used to get newspapers, but newspaper is not there now. Or everything has become e now. So e-newspaper, Kindle, and other things on mobile. People read books, watch movies. So that's again, these are. I'm trying to build up a thing that how this over period of time we have gone and shifted away from actual doing work on ground than on screen. So everything has resulted in increased screen time, and this is what we call as a computer vision syndrome. And students being in the department, being in the hospital, I get so many students and adults as well with this so-called computer vision syndrome. So what it happens in computer vision syndrome? So what when we try to see the things which is closer to our eyes, because the screen is very close to our eyes, so we try to use our muscles to see more clearly. This is known as accommodation. So normally every eye accommodates whenever you try to see near thing, but when you do it for longer time, this accommodating muscle goes into a spasm. When you get pain, when you get sprain, the muscle goes into spasm. So there are multiple small muscles in the eye. So they go into spasm and they cause pain. The symptoms are of this computer vision syndrome is dry eyes, burning eyes, and loss of focus. So eye fatigue, you could be having a lot of itching, there is redness, there's double vision, and invariably I get complaint of headache, which gets aggravated, which gets increased by the end of the day. So what is basically the cause of computer vision syndrome is, it's a poor position related to computers. You are either very close to the computer or very far away from computer, or the screen is much above your eye, or you've gone much closer to the screen. So what we can do to avoid it? First and foremost is to use a wider screen, preferably a laptop with a blue filter in it and a proper distance which is to be maintained. The room should be well lit. You should not use these devices in a dark, try to lie down on bed and you try to see your laptop and mobile and read. That is the most harmful thing. Create a proper distance. Your back should be resting on the chair. So you should be using a table. That is mandatory, that you should be sitting on a table and a chair. Back should be leaning on the backrest, and there should be a distance of minimum 40 to 75 centimeters from your eye. The room should be well lit, and there should be an angle of 20 degrees between eye and screen. That means the screen should not be at a very low level or at a very high level. So it should be just below your eye level so that you could see. Or in between, you can also stand and see your laptop. You should make an effort to blink. That is very important, that you should be frequently blinking, because it has been seen that when people are watching TV or web series or whatever movie, the blinking rate goes down. So you should keep blinking, make an effort to blink, and you should wear your correcting glasses. Whatever glasses you have, you should wear that. You should do eye exercises, very important. there's an eye exercise. I'll tell you how to go about this eye exercise. I have already told about the proper lighting. The glare should be less. The distance should be proper, and your monitor should be frequently cleaned so that there is no dust on the monitor. One can use the filters on the monitors to prevent this harmful UV and the blue light. So this exercise is 20-20-20. That is, every 20 minutes, you should take a break of 20 seconds and try to see an object which is 20 feet away. So 20-20-20, that is every 20 minutes, take a break of 20 seconds and try to look an object which is 20 feet away. In case there is an excessive dryness, one should use these lubricating drops. It is, kind of giving nourishment to the eyes, and this will prevent all the side effect of computer vision syndrome. I can't say that you have to pledge to say no to mobile, because that is mandatory nowadays, but avoid as much as possible. Once the class is not there, take a break. What I see, students trying to, whenever there's a break in the class, they stop and they start searching on the net for the other things. So again, the period away from mobile has not gone away. So one has to purposefully take a break from mobile and do your other activities whenever there's a break in the class. So I wrote this article in the India Today Inside about an eye opener, which I stressed upon how the student should look after their eyes in this pandemic. Thank you. Ma'am, I think the next speaker can present, Colonel Alok Sati can present.
Thank you, Colonel Mishra.
Thank you, ma'am. Alok?
Yeah, sir, I'm there. I'm presenting. Yeah. Just sharing the screen. If I'm not wrong, it's okay. Yeah, is it visible?
Yes. We
Yeah.
can see.
Yeah. So after a wonderful talk by Colonel Mishra, I'll wave you all through another very important topic, particularly related to this age group to whom we are addressing today, is myopia. Now, before hopping on to the myopia, we should know what is normal. So if you see at the screen, anything which is, if the rays of light coming from infinity falling onto the center part of retina, that is what is the normal situation in a normal eye, what we call. But if there is a deviation from this phenomenon, that is what leads to myopia or hypermetropia. I think in this age group, everybody must have heard these two words. And in class 9th, it is also being taught. That's what I came to know from my son. Now, this myopia, if you see, the rays fall in front of retina. That is, if the rays are falling in front of retina, that is called myopia. And if the rays are falling behind the retina, that is called hypermetropia. This is, in a very simple term, what we describe these two refractive errors. Now, why we are harping on myopia? Why not hypermetropia? Because at this age group to whom we are addressing, this is the commonest refractive error is being seen. And I think many of you are going to become medicos also. And there was one study we did in Armed Forces Medical College where around 73% of the aspirants who are joining the medical college were myope. So you can imagine how severe this condition is. And especially if you're studious, you can think that you are going to become more myope. So what are the causes of this myopia? The commonest one is the heredity. Heredity means either your eyeball is long or the eye, what we call normally in a layman term, is long, as you can see here, or there is an abnormality in the cornea. That is what is the black portion, what we see normally. Now, these are the various environmental factors that we call. The commonest is genetics. There is no doubt in that. But there are certain environmental factors which also have been incriminated in the causation of myopia. One of them is the diet. A diet which is poor in vitamin C and A has also been promulgated to be the causative agent for it. And it is scientifically being proven. Now, second is the excessively near work. And this, as Colonel Mishra has highlighted these days, all the students are working quite closer to the laptops. So this is another factor which can cause myopia. The third one is the abnormal posture in reading. This is quite common thing which we see nowadays. Half of us are half sleeping, half of us sleeping, like even my son, he studies by lying down, though subsequently, it follows a fight. But this is the commonest scenario, I think, in everybody's home these days. So how we know that we are myope? This is very important. There are, say, 70 students in a class, but how do we know that who is myope? So even the teachers in the class can easily ask who is a myope if, a student is saying that he's not able to see the blackboard clearly. I think this is the commonest explanation, commonest description that the students give when the parents bring them to us. Then we often see some of the students, they are half shutting their eyes while looking at distance. This is another feature which can suggest that he or she may be having a refractive error. Then there are certain signs, a student is having headache, or the student is having burning sensation in the eye. Again, these are the features which clearly depicts that he or she may be having myopia. Then if somebody is not doing well in studies, instead of beating him in home or beating in him class, it is better to ask or to get his eyesight tested. That's also important. So how to manage this condition? The management is very simple. Bring the child to the ophthalmologist and get his eyesight checked up. And if required, give him the glasses. And the glasses which is commonly asked is the concave glasses that we give for the myope. And this is also an MCQ which is often asked in class 10th, if I'm not wrong. And the another option is the contact lens. That's the another one which is given to the students. But nowadays we have certain refractive surgeries also, but mark my words, we do not do these surgeries in this age group, like 9th or 10th student, because they are normally, 15, 16 years. So they are normally done after 20 years of age. 20 completion has to be there. Then this is SMILE. This is another type of refractive surgery which we have in our setup. And I must tell you that under the guidance of our head of department, we are doing great job in this refractive surgery. And these are the steps, I think that's not required for the students, but they should know that there is an entity known as SMILE to make them smile after getting rid of them glasses. So how to prevent progression, like how we can prevent the progression of the myopia? One, eat a balanced diet. Just don't depend on the junk food. This is what is commonest thing happening nowadays in everybody's home. And eat a balanced diet which is rich in vitamin A and C. Then limit yourself to the near device. As Colonel Mishra has told that we have to follow the principle of 20-20-20. So again, I'll reiterate it because this is a very important statement that you have to take a break after 20 minutes, look at 20 feet for 20 seconds. That gives a lot of relaxation to the eyes and that will make you more happier, and you can, keep continuing your studies without any headache or eye ache. Often also go out and play, at least do cycling if you don't have friends, because nowadays this friend culture is slowly vanishing, which I'm observing. So it is happening in all fronts, including the adults. So you all can go out, have, you can play, you can do cycling, but must enjoy the environment of Delhi. Don't always blame pollution of Delhi. It's not that. We all are living here. In addition to that, a very important thing which our predecessor, Colonel Mishra, has brought out, the proper posture. Whenever you are studying, a proper light has to be there. Keep blinking in between, at least have 7 to 10 blink. I know that it's very difficult to count at how many blinking you're having, how many blinks you have, but keep blinking. Don't stare, that's what we mean to say, and follow this principle which we have already rattled out before. In the end, I would like to suggest to have a very good visual hygiene. Hygiene means do not rub your eyes. If you want to rub, just, calm down, and you can put down, put some of the, ice cubes which you put if you have an itching, that reduces itching to a great extent, but do not rub, because rubbing promotes a lot of problem in the eye. Also, do not touch your eyes with dirty hands. Very important. And wear spectacle. If you are a myope, please wear spectacle every time. Do not wear them at your wish, because again, the eye fatigue will be there. You will touch your hands with the eyes with the dirty hands, you'll keep rubbing, and you will incite poo problems. So do not lose hope, even if you're myope. All these stalwarts have been myope, and they are doing wonderful in their respective fields. Thank you.
Thank you, Colonel Alok.
Thank you, sir.
Our next speaker, Lieutenant Colonel Sonali.
So will you unshare your screen, sir? Sati, sir?
Yeah, I'm doing it. I don't know, it's not coming on my laptop.
Then just close it, sir.
Sonali,
Automatically.
start sharing, your screen will come. Start your sharing your screen, probably it will come.
It's okay? Yeah.
Is my slide visible?
Yes.
Yeah. Hello,
Yes, ma'am.
friends. I'm Dr. Sonali, posted as an oculoplastic surgeon at R&R Hospital. And today I'll be discussing with you common oculoplastic disorders, which we see in our school-going children. And the idea of this talk is to increase awareness among this clientele so that they seek intervention on time. So you must be thinking, what the hell is this oculoplastic diseases? Basically, it includes the diseases of the lid, upper eyelid, the lower eyelid, and then diseases of the lacrimal system, which includes the lacrimal gland, which secretes tear, and then its drainage of tears into the nasolacrimal, through the nasolacrimal duct into the lateral part of the nose. It also includes diseases of the orbit or the socket. Basically, it houses the eyeball and protects the eyeball. So there is a lack of awareness about these diseases, not only among general population, even among healthcare professional also. So as a result, they are diagnosed at a very later stage, which often causes visual dysfunction and then anatomical disfigurement and sometimes cosmetically unacceptable appearance. So let's begin. The common bumpy lesions on eyelid, which we see in our children, are stye and chalazion. So what is stye? Stye is basically an inflammation of the glands which are located within the eyelids, and is very common in children and young adults. And why it happens? If the patient has an eye strain, either due to muscle imbalance or some undiagnosed or uncorrected refractive error, as a result, they keep on rubbing their eyes. Like Kanal Sati has mentioned in his talk, like myopia also happen, like because of if you keep on touching your eyes with dirty hands and keep on rubbing your eyes. So same thing can cause sty also. So how does it look like? It's very painful and tender on touching. And most of the time it is a nodular lesion and it appears as a reddish lump, basically along the lid margin. If the lesion is of bigger size, there is a localized swelling of the eyelid. And sometimes if the abscess has formed, you can see the pus point, which occurs on the lid margin. So treatment is very simple. What we have to do, if the lesion is of smaller size, we advise warm compression. So how to do warm compression? Take lukewarm water, put a cloth in it and apply over the lesion at least for 5 minutes. And we can do it twice in a day. And followed by the application of topical antibiotic ointment. And if there's a localized swelling of the eyelid, then we prescribe oral antibiotics also. And if the abscess has formed, then we do a small procedure. We call it incision and drainage. Or sometimes we just remove the eyelash where the pus point is visible. So another lumpy bumpy lesion which we see in our children is chalazion. It has a less dramatic course of event compared to sty, because most of the time it is painless. And it is also a nodular lesion, but here the lesion is slightly away from the lid margin, whereas sty is over the lid margin. And on everting the lid margin, we see the conjunctiva, the surrounding structure is congested. And in case if there is a suppurated infection, the lesion looks yellow also. So what is the commonest cause? Same, uncorrected or undiagnosed refractive error. If the patient has a poor lid hygiene, frequent rubbing or touching of eyes, and if the patient has a recurrent episode of chalazion or sty, we must investigate, because most of the time we'll find these people, they have a high blood sugar, so which has to be treated. Treatment, again, warm compression, the technique I have mentioned. In case the lesions are multiple and small, then we give a steroid, intralesional steroid. And if the patient doesn't respond to the steroid, we perform a minor surgery. So how to prevent this? So in both the condition, the sty and chalazion, most of the time they have a uncorrected refractive error. So vision to be checked. And if there is a subnormal or suboptimal vision, then glasses to be advised. Then keep your hands clean, because we have a tendency of touching our eyes with dirty hands, and which eventually spread the infection. So avoid rubbing and touching of your eyes, because with rubbing, this glands gets inflamed, and as a result, the glands are swollen and can give rise to these nodular lesions. Maintain good lid hygiene by cleaning the lid margin with a small amount of baby shampoo lotion mixed with a warm water. And this you can do it twice in a day. And already I mentioned, if there's a recurrent episode, then blood sugar to be checked, because high blood sugar acts as a nidus for this infective organism. So another common condition which we come across in children is droopy eyelids. The medical term for this is ptosis, is a Greek word which means fall. So normally the upper lid covers only 2 mm of this black portion. This black portion is known as cornea. And if it is more than that, then we call it ptosis or droopy eyelids. And there is a narrowing of the palpebral aperture. So why it is a matter of concern for us? First, it affects the confidence of the school-going child, because it causes cosmetic blemish. And sometimes because the visual axis is obscured, it can cause visual dysfunction also. Like some children, they are born with this condition. We call it congenital, and some they acquire later in their life. If they're born with this condition, then most of the time there is a maldevelopment of the muscle, levator muscle. This muscle is responsible for the elevation of your upper eyelid. So there is a maldevelopment, there is a fatty infiltration. As a result, the fibrosis happen and is not able to act. And as a result, the eyelid droops. If the child acquires droopy eyelids subsequently or in the later course of their life, so because sometimes because of trauma, injury, or allergic conjunctivitis, they have a habit of rubbing their eyes. So what happened in these cases, there is a de-insertion of muscle. And again, the drooping of eyelid happens. So should we operate in all cases in children? No. We should, if the visual axis, suppose if the axis, this is, we call it visual axis. If this is clear, then we advise observation, and surgery is advised once the child becomes adult, because results of surgery in an adult are more predictable compared to the children and very young infants. But definitely if a child present, when the visual axis is obscured, because it affects the visual dysfunction, it affects his visual ability to read, then surgery is advised. The another condition which we come across is teary eyes. So is it normal or abnormal? So tears in Shah Rukh Khan eyes are normal because his father has scolded him for not marrying a girl of his choice in that movie. But tear in this child are abnormal, and in this child also are abnormal. Why? Because they are happy school going children and they are not crying. Then why the tearing is happening? What could be the cause? So if the child has a history, like if he gives a history, like the tearing is there since birth, so most of the time there is a problem with the nasolacrimal duct. This duct has an opening in the lateral part of your nose. So if it is blocked, lacrimal gland is responsible for the production of the tear. So normally it flows along the lid margin and then it drains into the nasolacrimal duct. So if this portion is blocked, there is no drainage and the tear starts flowing from the eyes. Sometimes because of ocular allergy and infection and systemic condition like viral infection can also cause tearing in children. So what should we do? So if the patient has a blocked nasolacrimal duct, normally around the nasolacrimal duct, there is a membrane which involutes after birth. But in case of there is a block, in case of watering, which the patient complains that is since birth, this membrane persists, it doesn't involute. So what we advise sac compression. And what happened with the sac compression? This membrane is very soft and it ruptures and the patient is cured. Suppose if the sac compression is not effective, then with a one metal probe, we try to rupture the membrane. If this also doesn't work, then the child is taken up for a surgery at a later stage of their life. Topical medication we advise in other conditions, like if the patient has watering because of allergy, infection, and systemic condition. Last but not the least, white reflex in eye. So it is a sign for warning. Warning for what? It could be a sign for eye cancer, and the most common is the retinoblastoma. This is a tumor of retina. So what should we do? Don't ignore and panic. Seek consultation. Treatment is possible. If the child presents early, when the lesion is of smaller size, we advise systemic chemotherapy or laser therapy or radiation therapy. Suppose the child lands up with a huge tumor or in advanced stage of the tumor, then we advise surgery. The surgery name is enucleation, in which we remove the eyeball to save the life of the child. So don't worry, the treatment for this condition is also available in present era. Any questions I'll take up in the end. Thank you.
Thank you, Lieutenant Colonel
Thank
Sonali.
you.
Our next speaker, Lieutenant Colonel Dhar.
Good evening, everyone. I'll be continuing the talk on eye safety with the squint and amblyopia. So just to start, squint is also known as strabismus. In this, the one of the eye looks straight and the other eye points in the different directions. It is particularly common in young children, but it can occur in any age group. In this, one of the eyes is looking straight and the other eye can go in any direction. It can go in, out, up or down. Like in this photograph, we can see that the one eye is straight and the other eye has gone in the outward direction. So what are the effects of this? The child has to bear teasing of his peer group. It results in the lack of confidence in the child, and the child subsequently becomes introvert and loses interest in doing the activities and going out. So there was a story of a boy who had squint, and he said that because of his squint, people used to mock at him, laughed at him, and used to tease him. And a few years ago, he remembers that when he was in school, he was not able to read exactly what was written on the blackboard. And when he asked his teacher, the teacher rudely responded and asked him to leave the class. So coming on the types of squint, we can have pseudo squint. Pseudo squint means that the appearance of the child looks as if the child has got squint, but actually there is no squint. Like in this child, we can see that it appears that the eyes are in, but actually their eyes are straight. It only appears because the nasal folds are more prominent and the nasal bridge is broad. So other types, if the eye goes inwards, we call it esotropia. If the eye goes outwards, then we call it exotropia. So what are the causes? Causes can be congenital. Congenital means that you have got it after your birth, and the children are born with this, or it runs in families, or later it can develop because of the refractive error. Refractive error already has been elaborated by Kana Alok Sati. So if the eyes are not focusing on your retina, either they are in front or behind, then that condition is known as refractive error, and it causes a blurred image. So to counter that, the child accumulates the eye muscles, and that results in squint. It can be also because of the weakness of the eye muscles or any weakness of the nerves which are supplying the muscles. So what are the symptoms? Symptoms are basically asthenopia, which has been explained. The symptoms are headache or eye strain or difficulty in reading, giving rise to blurring of vision, or if the squint is of significant quantity, then it can give rise to the crossed eye appearance. And anyone looking at the child will be able to tell that one of the eye is out or in, and the child is having squint. So it can occur all the times, or initially it can also occur intermittently. That is, in a day, the child may have some hours during which the child may be having squint, and at other times the child may not be having any squint. Then the eyes are straight. So most of the kids initially do not complain of any eye problem because they are unaware of this condition, whether they are having squint or not. The parents generally observe this among their kids, or the friends or someone else notices it and tells that you are having squint. It can also give rise to diplopia or double vision when we see single object as double, like we are seeing this hand, which is looking double. Or you can also develop a head posture. Head posture means you can either, your head may be turned up, down, or tilted to one of the shoulders, or you may be facing left or right. So like in this this child who was looking towards the left, after the surgery, he has become normal and looking straight ahead. So one more condition which is associated with the squint or strabismus is lazy eye. And if squint is fixed early, then it can be treated early, and it may not give rise to any of the other problems like lazy eye. Suppose if the squint is not treated early, or there is a refractive error, or there is a number of for the child which is not corrected at a particular age, the brain will ignore the weak image and it will only see the strong image. So the weaker image will be ignored and that eye will be ignored. So it will develop into lazy eye. So these problems can be permanent if they are not treated, but if they are treated in time, then they can become normal. Like in this photograph, we see that the left eye is normal and it is having a normal clear image, while the right eye has developed into a lazy eye. So the same image is looking as a blurred image through the right eye. So the treatment is basically simple. Just use prescribed glasses. If you have a refractive error, it will correct your squint most of the times. Or if you have developed lazy eye or amblyopia because of not getting corrected your refractive error, or because of the squint, you have to patch the eye. And the basic idea is that we patch the normal eye so that the abnormal eye or the lazy eye is used most of the times and it becomes normal. Or we advise eye exercises. So we can see that this child is having eyes which go out from in. So she is having esotropia. There is a movement in the eyes are going out. So now we have given glasses and now we are checking again. There is no movement in the eyes. So her squint has been corrected by using glasses. So if we have if the glasses are not the answer, or the child has come late, or the squint doesn't get corrected with glasses or contact lenses, or the exercises fail, then we have to take the child for surgery. And basically the idea of surgery is to change the position of the muscle and to correct the squint. So what are the precautions we can take? Precautions are we can wear eyeglasses or contact lenses as early as possible if we have the problem. So this has been already explained very nicely by Colonel Alok Sati, that how do we know we are having myopia. So if we are in a class and we are not able to see the blackboard, that is the time you should take a consultation. Secondly, it is important that you allow your eyes to rest and avoid straining your eyes and avoid the conditions or the activities giving pain to your eyes. Avoid working on laptop or using various screens for a long time, as has been explained in detail. So these are basically the precautions. In conclusion, most squints in children need to be assessed as soon as possible to ensure vision and to increase the chances of successful treatment. And if you have any asthenopic symptoms, that is headache, blurring of vision, or diplopia, please consult your doctor. Squint is not just a cosmetic problem, it also is associated with the three-dimensional vision, so it should be corrected at an early age. And most important, squint is a treatable disorder, because most of us think that squint is not treatable, and it is the child is some kind of a lucky child for the parents, and we ignore this condition and keep the child as he is. So in a bargain, the child loses the ability to see the things in three-dimensional space. What are the healthy habits? Have your eyes checked regularly. Don't touch or rub your eyes. Use protective glasses. Eat healthy food, as you have been told earlier also. Avoid excessive screen time. Make sure that you are taking breaks and you follow 20-20-20 rule, and don't stare at sun and go out and play in the evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Lieutenant Colonel Sanjay Dar. The session is now open to questions from the students. Students who have to ask any questions may please raise their hands, and the moderators will take in your questions. In the
Ma'am, can
meantime,
we?
our moderators are ready with some questions for you.
Yes.
Over to the moderators.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, can we ask the questions that have been prepared beforehand?
Yes, go ahead.
All right. Thank you, sirs and ma'am. Today's session was absolutely magical, as we all learned how to take proper care of our eyes, especially in this pandemic, where everything is taking place online.
After this wonderful session, a few of our students have some questions and queries, so if you would be generous enough to answer them.
So the first question is, do zero power glasses help in reducing eye strain?
See, zero power glasses are basically glasses without any power. So that means you are using those glasses more for protection. It's not correct. So either you have a proper screen in front of your computer, which will prevent this blue light, and wearing a glasses may help in the sense the child doesn't rub the eyes, doesn't touch the eyes frequently. So again, those glasses should not be a normal glasses. Those glasses should be with the blue protection, and that can help. Just for fashion is not advisable, but yes, with protection, yes, you can.
Thank you, sir. The second question is, a mobile has features such as eye comfort or night light. So how much difference does it make on our eyes, such as when using mobile with those features and without using those features?
Don't go by these gimmicks. All these night features gives strain to your eyes. So we have advised you that you should use these glasses in proper, the light should be proper. Don't switch off your light and use night mode and see those screens. It will damage your eyes and give us false sense of security.
All right, sir. So the next question is, would you advise us to use UV glasses for online classes? And if yes, which one?
See, there are multiple glasses which are there in the market. All those branded glasses by Carl Zeiss and Essilor, they come with blue protection. So these glasses with blue protections are advisable for your classes.
Okay, sir. The next question is if someone has a problem of redness, itching, and water coming out from eyes, so what is suggested in that case?
See, one should not self-treat. And these features could be also because of allergy, because there's a change in season. There is a viral, apart from the COVID, there is a viral infection which is going on in the society. So that could be because of the allergy also, or that could be because of the dry eyes also. So it is advisable that in such case, you must visit your nearest hospital and see an eye doctor. But in the meantime, you can also do certain things that cut down on your screen time. And as told by Kalna Alok Sati, that you can put some ice pack, it does help.
Priya, can we have some questions from the students?
Yes, ma'am. If someone has any further queries, please we'll unmute you one by one.
Yeah. First one, Shashwat Singh, I am unmuting.
Good evening, sir and ma'am. Sir, I have a question for Dr. Sanjay Kumar.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Yes, sir. Sir, should the distance vary between you and the screen if the screen is smaller? And if yes, then what should be the distance between you and your mobile phone or your iPad or your computer?
See, I told you that preferably one should avoid reading from a mobile phone. But if it is mandatory or if it is necessary that you don't have a laptop, then mobile phone should be minimum at least 33 centimeters from your eyes. Because beyond that, you won't be able to see the letters clearly. So it should be kept at 33 centimeters. Is it clear?
Anybody else who has any queries can raise their hands.
Alok, you can also take some questions, please.
Yeah, sir. Sure.
Anika has been unmuted.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, teachers. Good evening, doctors. I had a doubt that if the laptop screen is wider, how does it actually help you? Because it is still a screen and it is still affecting your eyes.
May I answer this, sir?
Alok, please go ahead.
See, if you're seeing something on a mobile, you're seeing, small letters as compared to the letters which you're seeing on laptop. So it's very simple that, small letters will obviously have to strain more to see them. And straining here means that you are using your muscles of the eye. And the longer the duration you're using them, obviously you will be having, eye pain and headache. So it's always advisable to use laptop with a larger font size to have more comfort in the eyes.
Okay. Thank you so much, doctor.
Shashwat 10B.
Yes, ma'am. Sir, I had this question that if our laptop or phone already has a feature of blue light or filtering blue light, so is it preferable to then also wear glasses which protect us from the blue rays?
I think Dhar can answer this question well. Dhar?
So if you have a feature of blue light in your laptop or your mobile phone, then it's not required to put on glasses. But that doesn't mean that you increase your screen time. Your screen time should be same only, not exceed 20 minutes to 30 minutes at a stretch. So you should still take breaks in between and do your work.
Anuraj Kashyap 9C.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, teachers and doctors. My question to doctors is, if a man has no eye diseases and his eyes started getting red suddenly, so what can be done to prevent it?
Getting redness suddenly means we always look what is the cause of it, basically, as an ophthalmologist. So you have to come to an ophthalmologist and show yourself to him. That's what you should do. Because all of a sudden, if you're having redness, I think the most common cause is conjunctivitis, viral. Then there are other causes
Yes,
also.
sir.
So you have to come to ophthalmologist and you have to show yourself. That's always advised. Instead
Okay.
of self-medication.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
10H.
Good evening, sir. I needed to ask that many times you are told that for a myope eye, we can do exercises which improves the eyesight. So does it actually help? And if it does, can you please suggest some exercises, because nobody ever tells us what exercises to do.
I think Dhar can answer this question again, because to my knowledge, except Baba Ramdev, I am not very sure about the exercises really improves vision, but definitely it helps in accommodation. When you do pen exercises, it also helps in, if you have a divergence, to have more of convergence. So it also promotes in that manner. I think other panelists can take over this answer. I think Dhar or Sir can take, Sanjay Mishra Sir can take this answer.
Sanjay, you can answer this.
Yes, sir. So if you have a myopia, and basically as Sir told, there are no exercises which can cure your myopia. Myopia can only be cured either by wearing glasses, or after you're 20 years old, then you can undergo surgical procedures for the myopia. All those exercises are basically to prevent the effects of myopia when you're reading, because myopes don't accommodate. So basically there is a problem which is developing into the extraocular muscles. So to relax your muscles, it is advisable to do all these exercises, but it will not cure your myopia. It will only prevent your asthenopic symptoms.
I would like to add on this that when there is myopia, the number is increasing. The parents are worried that the number is increasing very rapidly. Then what? Basically, there are certain drops which have started coming in the market, but a lot of studies have been done on that. So those drops can be used to arrest the progression of myopia. Also, it has been proved that playing outside in sunlight, eating good with good vegetables, green vegetables, and avoiding too much of screen time does arrest progression of myopia.
Parent was wanting to ask. Simar.
Yes. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, ma'am.
Sir, I am a parent of one of your students. Sir, lately, sir, I have been facing some problem with my eyesight. I have a PAR of minus, negative PAR of both eyes. One is -1 and one is minus 0.75. So, sir, lately, because of this more of cooking time and all in kitchen time, I think, sir, my eyes have developed dryness. So, sir, when I get up in the morning, so one eye is always opening normally, but the other eye is always sticking. So I have to use my hand to open the other eye, the left eye. So I think, is it excessive dryness or is there some other issue I should go to a doctor?
First of all, ma'am, you must visit a doctor to see whether is there any signs of infection, because those sticking of lid together could also be because of a mild infection. Also, other causes could be dryness because you are doing a lot of cooking. Apart from cooking, you must be watching a lot of TV and laptop, whatever it must be, teaching with your student, with your children, or watching TV, movies. It does increase dryness. So you can do simple things that you can, before going to bed, you can do a proper cleaning of the eyelids and also start some lubricating eye drops. In case it doesn't help, then you must see.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, welcome.
I think. Prinjan 8A.
Good evening, sir and ma'am. Ma'am, my question was that can changes in seasons affect our eyes in any way?
Yeah, as I've told you, the change in season brings out a lot of viral infection. That whenever there is a change in season, you tend to get, there is an increase in the bout of viral influenza type of symptoms. So these cold, cough, sneezing, these are changing season viral infections. So that can bring, apart from that, when there is a change in season, when there is a dust, when there is a storm, you can get some allergic diseases. So yes, it does bring changes to the eyes also.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Rihanna 10J.
Good evening, sir and ma'am. I had a doubt that I have both my eyes are 6x6. So I was thinking that can I buy a UV glasses from Amazon, or should I consult a doctor about having them and getting my eye checked, and then they would give me a glass prescription?
But why do you want? You said your vision is 6x6.
Yes, but UV, like you said that UV glasses make our eyes. We don't have to stress much more on the screen, and the radiation that comes from the screen are not directly pointed towards the eyes.
You must be sure of what you're buying. See, what the things you are online many times what they say is actually not available. So instead of getting duped by online shopping, you can go to a proper shop and ask for because these branded glasses, if you get it, they are assured of giving you what they tell you. But most of the things on online, it may promise you anything, but may give you a false sense of security.
Prayer 10B.
Good morning, doctor. Good evening, doctors. I had a question that there is a redness in my eye, in my right eye. I never had any eye problems or anything before. Is it due to increased screen time or any infections or something?
It could be. It appears that you got a lot of your screen time has definitely increased over maybe a couple of weeks or so. So that could be the thing. Or if there's any other features other than redness, you have any itching or discharge, then could be other reasons. But definitely cut down on your screen time and take a break. Take frequent breaks from your mobile.
We can have one last question. Natasha ma'am.
M. Vishnu 9H. Unmute yourself. Yeah.
Good evening, sir.
Hello, Vishnu.
So I had a doubt that when we look at a light with specs, so the light is reflected. So this reflection can affect the specs even more or not?
No. It's a normal light does not affect you. But don't try to look at sun, because sun can definitely damage your retina. So normal light will not affect your eyes.
With that, I think we can end our question answer session. Children will have a lot of doubts. They can still go on and on.
They can.
And you've been very patient. Thank you so much. Our principal ma'am would like to say a few words.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. Thank you. Unfortunately, I'm in a. Can I be heard, Gargi?
Yeah, yes, you're clear, ma'am.
Okay. Unfortunately, I'm in a place where it's either the sound or the screen. So I thought it makes sense that at least you will be able to hear me. I wanted to thank Dr. Mishra and his team, because I think it's been a really enlightening session. And I'm glad that I told my teachers to log in as well. The reason being that in addition to the students, the teachers themselves are obviously on the screen all the time. So the screen time for all of us has also gone up, I would say, drastically. In addition to that, the kids have just finished their exams, and I know a lot of us are also doing our corrections online. So for all of us, I would say the screen time has really gone up. But what is going to stay with me definitely is the 20-20-20, and I think that is a rule that we all should apply. And in fact, maybe decide to put it across, every teacher starts with 20-20-20, so that people remember the fact and they give their eyes enough rest. But I must thank you. I thought it was, all of you did a fantastic job. We always tell our teachers and students how to make a presentation. I would say each of you had such crisp presentations, to the point, and what was on the PowerPoint was also very, very, I would say, absolutely what is required. So really a big thank you from all of us. But I would say this should be the first of many sessions, because there are, looking at the number of questions that the kids have, maybe the next time we decide to call you to school so that you can interact with us and take tons of questions from our children. So a big thank you to you and your team for doing this for us.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Over to our moderator.
That was indeed a thrilling and an eye-opening session. Who could imagine that computer light reflects in eye, squid, and more use of screen and wrong posture can cause this much harm to our eyes. Thank you so much, sir and ma'am, for giving such important lessons. Taking care of our eyes in this time of online classes is all that is required. We are indebted to you, sir, for lending us your valuable time and enlightening us about such valuable things. On behalf of our principal, Mrs. Komal Sood, teachers and students, I extend our gratitude for an enriching experience. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, doctors.
Thank you, ma'am, and thank you so much for giving us this opportunity to, educate our children, because I could see my daughter also, studying too much. And I always tell her that, you have to protect your eyes, because once you get those glasses, it becomes very difficult to get rid of them. So it is protection and precaution is the treatment. And we must take care, as we take care of our health, we must take care of our eyes also. It's very most precious organ of the body. So we must spend some time on eyes and give rest to the eyes. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.